Blue Jackets are coming off 2 big wins, and tonight they welcome the defending Stanley Cup champions to Nationwide, Columbus Blue Jackets and LA Kings. It's live and straight ahead only on Fox Sports Ohio. And welcome to Nationwide Arena and Fox Sports Ohio's coverage of the Los Angeles Kings and the Columbus Blue Jackets. As we come inside Nationwide, the Blue Jackets return home having won 2 games in a row. They host tonight, of course, the defending Stanley Cup champions with an opportunity to maybe knock them off their throne a little bit. Of course, before any of that happens, there's one guy on the ice tonight who'll be wearing, well, he'll feel a little bit like royalty. Let's just put it that way. With details on that and more, let's go upstairs to Jeff Rimmer. Hello, Jeff.
And good evening to you, Dave. Good evening, everybody. Well, a significant night here at Nationwide as one of the Blue Jackets' unquestionable leaders on the hockey club, Scott Hartnell, plays his 1,000th National Hockey League game. And prior to tonight's contest, his good friend, Jody Shelley, had the chance to sit down with the man of the hour. Let's listen.
All right, thanks, Jeff. Down here with Scott Hartnell, about to reach a major milestone in his career, 1,000 games. How does that feel, buddy?
It's a crazy number. You know, small kid from Lloydminster, Alberta. You dream of playing 1 game, but you know, 999 more. It's quite the thrill, and glad to do it tonight against the Kings.
Oh, man, and you talk about Lloydminster. You go back there, you get drafted to Nashville when you're 18 years old. What does a guy who's played 999 games, going to play 1,000, tell that 18-year-old boy that put his gear on for the first time in Japan, was it, for your first game?
Tokyo, Japan. It's, I talked to Alex Winberg today. He was asking me a bunch of questions. You know, did it fly by? All this kind of stuff, and I just said, enjoy it. This is, you know, the best time of your life. You know, playing this game, you get to, you know, one flick of the wrist, you get to bring 18,000 people to their, you know, off their seats. So it's just an incredible run. And you know, my family's here, a few of my nephews. It's just been a great couple days.
And talk about that. I mean, that's got to feel amazing having people that supported you the whole way. You don't get to the NHL without good support, and you don't get to 1,000 games without those people around you. It's got to feel good to have them in the building.
Yeah, it's, you know, looking, when I was a young kid, you know, a rink rat, looking up to my brothers playing, you know, having the morals that, you know, my mom and dad put into me and my family, you know, always mind your manners, you know, treat people like you want to be treated, things like that. And all those little things go a long way. And you know, to have the life I you know, lived so far and have them here, and you know, hopefully have a big W tonight, big win, and you know, keep this thing going we got here.
Well, Scotty, you're an outstanding guy. Good luck. I'm happy
Jody.
for you.
Thank you.
Go Jackets. Jeff, back to you, buddy. 1,000 games right here.
Tell you what, there's a couple of guys that are certainly pumped, and quite an accomplishment by certainly a Impact member of the Columbus Blue Jackets Hockey Club. Well, as far as the Los Angeles Kings are concerned, they are the defending Stanley Cup champions. Everyone well aware of that fact. And they are loaded with goal-scoring talent. One of them is, of course, Justin Williams. And Williams, the other night in Tampa, a guy that has the knack to score timely goals, had a pair in the Kings 4-2 win over the Lightning. Now, one of those goals was the 100th of his Los Angeles Kings career. Again, he has the knack to score big goals, and the Jackets have got to be aware of number 14 tonight. On the blue line, they are led by Drew Doughty. And Doughty, of course, was here in Columbus a short 2 weeks ago as a member of Team Foligno, the All-Star game, and he is one of the league's top defensemen. He has 7 points in his last 11 games. He is second on time on ice in the National Hockey League, averaging 29 minutes and 21 seconds. He is one of the top scoring defensemen, 26 assists on the year, and of course an Impact player who was a second overall pick in 2008. The Blue Jackets and the Kings next from Nationwide. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by First Financial Bank. Another step on the path to success. By IGS Energy. Take control of your natural gas and energy costs and enroll today at IGSenergy.com. And by Nationwide. At Nationwide, we put members first. To find a local agent, visit nationwide.com. Nationwide is on your side. It's a hockey night in Central Ohio and here at Nationwide Arena. The Blue Jackets riding a modest 2-game winning streak take on the defending Stanley Cup champion Los Angeles Kings. Curtis McElhinney, 6-2 with a 9.33 save percentage and a 2.15 goals against average in his last 8 starts. He is in a groove and playing like a #1 netminder. And 200 feet away, Jonathan Quick, who has backstopped these Los Angeles Kings to 2 cups in the last 3 years. Some say a bit of an off year, but he will be sharp here tonight. Our officials, the veteran Dan O'Halloran, good close-up look there at the veteran referee, Graham Skilleter, and the man of the hour, as we mentioned, playing his 1,000th National Hockey League game, Scotty Hartnell, and a significant start here as the Jackets begin this hockey game with the Johansson line. Now, this is a bit of a change, Jody. We have seen over the last several games the Dubinsky line starting, but in honor of the 1,000th game, he starts for the Jackets tonight.
He's shoulder to shoulder with a former teammate of his, longtime teammate in Philadelphia, Jeff Carter, who's hearing some boos already from his old fans here in Columbus.
You're not surprised, are you?
No, I'm not.
Robin Regeer, who played close to 30 minutes, just seconds under, jersey number 44, in that game against Tampa with an injury to Martinez on the blue line. That is the most he has played in 10 seasons. The last time he did that was a member of the Calgary Flames. Quick out to trap it, picked up there by Williams, the offensive hero, in that win Saturday at Tampa. A clearing pass picked off by the Jackets. D-to-D, the Jackets, speaking of defensemen, just a couple of short games ago, prior to the game Friday, they had 3 healthy defensemen that were sitting out. And now, just 6 healthy defensemen, and they are all in the lineup tonight as we check out tonight's Toyota Keys, presented by your Central Ohio Toyota dealer.
Well, let's go with no circling as they honor Scott Hartnell here in-house. They just announced the 1,000 games mark. No circling for the Blue Jackets. LA's got speed, and if you circle away from the puck, that opens up ice. They can skate. Play with pace. The Blue Jackets did it the last 2 games, the 2 victories that they had. Got to skate. Got to use it. One of the assets of these guys, the Columbus Blue Jackets, is their speed. And full team, full game. Everybody on deck tonight for the entire game. The LA Kings know how to win. 2 Stanley Cups in 3 years. Got to play the full game tonight, Jeff.
Well, Scotty Hartnell just acknowledged by the fans with the announcement here in the building, and he will be honored prior to the game on Friday night against his former team, the Flyers. Marian Gaborik, jersey number 12. Gaborik making his first appearance at Nationwide since the trade last season. At the deadline, Gaborik across the line, dumps it off into the corner. Losing an edge there is the captain, Dustin Brown. Jackets play it, and this is Savard. David Savard paired with Connaughton. All the pairings have been switched up with Dalton Trout, the latest Jacket to be injured. A clearing pass across the goal mouth, and Alexander Wenberg sends it home, and the Jackets lead 1-0.
Well, that might have went off to the defense for the LA Kings. Jamie McBain, he tied up Wenberg as he was going to the net. Great job by Wenberg to drive. Great heads-up play by that man, Jack Skilly. Watch him here. He's down the right side. Anisimov's going to the middle. So is Wenberg. There's the puck. There's the skate. And that's McBain. That'll be Jack Skilly's goal. Nice start.
And for Skilly, that's his first goal in 14 games. That's the kind of goal you need to get you going.
And there it is. McBain has got to take the backside forward, driving the net, Wenberg. And as he does that, love the decision by Jack Skilly to throw it towards the net like that.
So the Jackets, Jack Skilly, who certainly has worked hard, Jody, of late, but couldn't find the back of the net. That's the way to get a streak going the other way.
Well, the last couple of games, I agree with you. He's jumped in the lineup and asserted himself the way he knows how to do. He's a big guy. He's strong.
6th goal of the season. Here's Carter on the wing. In front, and they tie it up. Nolan gets the pass from Jeff Carter And how many times have we seen the Jackets score a goal and then on the next shift or a minute later, the game is tied?
And that just developed from the neutral zone. Speed through the neutral zone. Columbus backing off. Watch this here. Jeff Carter knows how to skate. One thing he has is speed. And he knows he's got big Dwight King going to the net, and that's just a tough play for McElhinney, who was thinking shot. Carter kind of sold the shot a little bit. McElhinney locked it up. Dwight King fills in on that 70s line.
My apologies. That is King's 8th goal of the season. And we're tied now the other way. Jackets pick it up. Anisimov draws the primary assist on the Skilly goal. And David Savard, the secondary. Oh, a stop there. A rebound sent wide after the initial stop by McElhinney. So Anisimov and Savard pick up the assist on the goal by Skilly. And then right back, Dwight King, 32 seconds after the Jackets score. The Kings have tied it up. Drop pass there, thrown in front. Picked up there by Stoll. Doughty in off the point. Johansson able to break it up. Stoll gets it right back in front of the Columbus bench. A quick start to this one with both teams finding the back of the net.
And that was a quick response. You mentioned it just as we were talking about the Blue Jackets goal. Here come the Kings. Carter is getting booed as they announce the assist that he received.
Regier off the left wing boards for Clifford. Long shot juggled but held by McElhinney.
I mentioned that 70s line that was put together in the playoffs or with LA last year, a couple of years ago. Toffoli, Pearson with Carter. They all wore high 70s numbers. Well, now Dwight King in there. He's number 74, so he's filled in there nicely. That Pearson and Toffoli, they played together in the minors and got to play together here with the Kings. They had a lot of success with Pearson out. So far, it looks like he's fitting very well, Dwight King.
Pearson breaking his leg out for a considerable time. He's had an impressive start to his NHL career. You saw Daryl Sutter, the coach that has led this Kings hockey club to 2 Stanley Cup titles in the last 3 years. Bob Miller, the longtime voice, Hall of Fame broadcaster, sporting the new Kings Stanley Cup ring. Pretty impressive, Jody.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome stuff they got going in LA. And this year, no, they've played. You mentioned 2 cups in 3 years. How about going? They went deep in the playoffs that year that they didn't win the Stanley Cup. So 3 years they played into June, and that has come up as one of the reasons why this LA Kings is on the outside looking in. Maybe a little bit of fatigue.
Well, talking to Daryl Sutter this morning, he talked in terms of obviously when you win a cup, the salaries go up. That's certainly a key. And they're also missing Voinov, who has been suspended for an off-ice altercation. And that's really hurt them.
Yeah, that has.
Here's a break. Dubinsky takes the pass, moves in, and fires it high and wide. The forward ranks pretty well the same as they have been for much of the last 3 years, save for Carter acquired 2 years ago. And, of course, last year, as we mentioned, Marian Gaborik coming over. Approaching the 5-minute mark. LA already with 7 shots on goal. Jackets have 2, finding the back of the net off the skate of McBain. Here's Dwight King. Lead pass there for Carter. He had his pocket picked there by Savard. 5 minutes plus gone. In this opening period as it's set off the wall. Bouncing puck picked up there by Anisimov. On for Skilly, who drills it wide of the net. Connaughton towards the net. That one is blocked in front. McBain pressuring. Out there with McNabb, the former Buffalo Sabres, sent in front for Skilly. And that is broken up by McNabb, but not clear. Jackets get it back. Skilly again. Kick save and a dandy there. Lifting that left pad.
Well, this offensive zone time, Wennberg had a great second effort steal on the far wall, Jeff. Brought it back into the zone. And that's how you get a team on their heels. all got their toes facing the other end towards the Blue Jackets end. Then the play turns back. They've got to pivot and get back. That's where you find that little extra ice.
Wide open start to this hockey game.
Yeah, it is wild.
At both ends of the ice, the goaltenders have been peppered a total of 11 shots here. As we approach the 7-minute mark, centering feed there. Jackets defend in front. Puck squirts wide of the net. Stoll with a hard hit along the wall. Trevor Lewis drilled along the boards. Kings look to send it to the point, but it's picked off here by Ryan Johansson. With Hartnell across the line, drops it back for Johansson. Atkinson heads to the net. Good defensive play made there by the Kings green. Able to keep that puck away from Atkinson. Meantime, Williams moves in, fires his shot, and the stop made there by the Jackets netminder, McElhaney. 2 quick goals, similar in fashion.
To look at the goal scorers right now, 1-1 here in Columbus as the LA Kings and the Blue Jackets are locking horns. Been kind of wild here early, Jeff. And let's look at these goals. You mentioned similar going to the break. Wenberg going to the net. Skilly tries to get it to him. Goes off McBain, the defender for the LA Kings. And here's Dwight King, big, strong number 74. 6'3", 225 pounds, driving the net around goal up there. Jeff Carter doesn't shoot. Slides it over to King, and he puts it in the back of the net.
Wide open. Opening 6 minutes plus here. Draw 1 by the Kings. Regier under control. Chips it off behind the net. Williams tries to get a stick on it. Wenberg defending. Battle along the wall. Jackets flip it. And there's Leopold onto the wing, and the Jackets dump it in. Anisimov in pursuit. Stoll behind the net. On for Doughty. Up high Leopold. Leopold sends it high off the glass. Regier tried to get a stick on it. Stoll stepping into Anisimov. Jackets from the point. Leopold with a shot. Puck ricochets out to center. Onto the left wing here for Lewis. Lewis chips it by the defenseman Golubov. Hustles off into the corner. The two battle. Swept free there by Skilly. Leopold works it along the wall. Jackets able to clear it out. Changing on the fly. Dubinsky's line coming over the boards. There's Muzzin on for Green. Right wing Carter. A quick feed to the left side. King looking rink wide. Toffoli picks it up on the right side. Picked up there by Connaught and tossed behind the net. Gets caught up in the skates of Savard. King's pressure. Toffoli. Trop can't clear the zone. Bouncing puck picked up by King. King head up into the slot. A shot scores. Toffoli on that King pass, and the Kings lead 2-1.
Tell you what, this line has got a little rhythm here. Kind of a tough play on the wall. David Savard is on the wall trying to break out the puck to Corey Trop. And as he does that, they don't get the puck out. And this is what they're left with. A little confusion in the defensive zone when you don't get the puck out. Corey Trop is in a tough position to make that play out. And LA is quick strike, and you see that. As the Jackets are still trying to work on defense to offense, LA turns it over, and their quick strike attack, Jeff, you can see right there. You don't have any time to sort it out. You have to know what's coming at you with the LA Kings, and that's another example of that line.
Now this line has found the back of the net here. King scored the first goal with his 8th, and he sets up Toffoli. And that goal mouth pass, cross ice. This is Doughty stepping up, and the shot deflected and out of play. Well, Marian Gaborik, as we mentioned, making his first start back here in Columbus after the trade at the deadline. Gaborik quoted today in the LA Times saying, "I really didn't spend a whole lot of time with the Blue Jackets. I really enjoyed the guys, though. They've got a good team, and I think they are going in the right direction." His stay in Columbus, all of 34 games over parts of 2 seasons. Of course, he was plagued by injuries, and this season no different for Gaborik. Gaborik has been injured. Talking this morning to head coach Daryl Sutter, he's been injured 3 times, yet still has points in 16 of his last 21 games played, and has 22 points in those 21 games.
He's a nice player. He's got speed, and he just fit in really well with this team and went on and won a Stanley Cup.
His first. This is Gaborik now. Boy, did he ever play well in the playoffs, didn't he? Kopitar circling the net. Kopitar up high. Backhands it off into the corner. Nolan fights through the check. Nolan now dancing away from Matt Calvert. A centering feed. Looking there for sure. The Jackets break it up. Ryan Johansson at center. Johansson will dump in. It gets by McBain. Paired there with McNabb, who's hit by Calvert. McBain throws it in front. Leopold with a shot that McBain is able to step in front and deflect wide of the net. Approaching the midway point of this opening period. It's been fast and furious, to say the least.
Yeah, how about that last play? Jared Cole is in the far corner. He tries to rim around to Leopold, but just before he did that, Leopold kind of stepped in a couple feet. They didn't connect.
Here's Bull picking it up, riding a 2-game point scoring streak on to Leopold, and it's turned aside by the stick save of Quick. Waiting up high here is Goluboff. Goluboff with 3 assists in his last 5 games played. Clifford now racing into the zone, can't get ahead of Goluboff, and it's moved by McElhaney for Leopold, back behind the net. Rimmed around the boards, that's Muzzin stepping up. Toss to the far side, will be picked up by Artem Anisimov. Anisimov lifts it up and out. Williams able to knock it down with a glove and tosses it back into Jackets territory. 1 assist on the Toffoli goal, that goes to King. The go-ahead goal here after passing the midway point of the period. Wedberg's, oh boy, that one I thought went underneath the crossbar. They're going to look at it. It was waved out by the official. The light went on, the horn sounded, the play continues as it was waved off by the referee.
It was hard to tell. Usually you can tell by the reaction of the player who shot the puck. I didn't see what Wennberg did, but the horn went off. A couple guys let up. It'll be interesting to see here.
Doughty. Bouncing puck in the corner. Did appear to go off the crossbar. And here, this is Dubinsky. Moving in, Dubinsky with a shot. And that's high off the netting and out of play. As we go to break, let's take a look here at the overhead, which will be the definitive look here. And Quick gets the arm up, but it's off the goalpost. That did not cross the line. And this one remains 2-1. Los Angeles.
Los Angeles has a 2-1 lead over the Columbus Blue Jackets here in Columbus, Ohio. Let's look at the second goal. Puck management, maybe a couple decisions here. David Savard gets the puck, does a great job getting away from trouble. Has support in the middle, 17, doesn't take it. Corey Trout's in a tough position where that puck bounced off his skate. And the Los Angeles Kings, their quick strike on the transition, as LA gets towards the net. Big tic-tac, and in the back of the net.
Long lead pass there for Atkinson, sails wide of the net. Quick will steer it free. McBain fights off the check. King attempted to clear. Jackets battle along the boards. And LA able to sweep it out to neutral ice. Less than 8.5 minutes left in this opening period. Shots are 9-5 LA. 2-1 on the board. Go-ahead goal by Toffoli, his 15th of the year. Here's Carter picking up that puck. Carter now taken wide by Savard. Tried to toss it in front. Jackets defend. And it's Ryan Johansson. Johansson, long lead pass for Hartnell at the line. Scotty Hartnell sends it towards the net, goes off Doughty, who recovers with Atkinson cruising in front. Robin Regeer, left wing for Kopitar and across the line. Drop pass for Gabrick. Gabrick with a shot went off the back of Kopitar. Picked up here by the Jackets and a clearing pass up the left wing boards. Foligno, with Trop.
Sorry, Jeff.
No problem. Here's Gabrick across the line. Moving in. Gabrick the shot. And it's fought off by the shoulder of McElhaney, who's bumped there by Dustin Brown. Meantime, the Jackets head up ice. Jack Johnson, the one-time King, joining a rush. Backhands a pass. Here's Corey Trott, rolls off his stick, and away goes Kopitar.
You see that there? Not much time for the Columbus Blue Jackets. They're getting the puck in some areas of the ice. But LA does a very good job of kind of smothering them with their speed. They're closing on the Jackets very quickly with the puck.
Interesting to note that during the TV timeout, Daryl Sutter had his team huddled, Jody, over at the bench, and he was giving it to him. Not happy about something, and he had some strong words for the hockey club. The team then huddled up and then came out for the face-off, and we got a penalty coming up here right now.
Yeah, he wants
Los Angeles penalty number 13, 2 minutes for boarding.
Every coach wants the team to play a certain way. So yeah, Columbus scores early. They answer, and they have the lead. As you look at the penalty there, this is a boarding call. As you see there, Wennberg's just trying to play the puck. Jackets with the advantage here, but back to Sutter. Yeah, they wanted the team to play that certain way all the time. So high demands from these coaches, and tough to find a happy one behind the bench.
Jackets 5th in power play efficiency, 38 goals at 22.9%. This is a rare power play for the Jackets in recent games. They did not get a power play opportunity against St. Louis and had but one in Ottawa. Well, you got a power play here right now. The Kings 26th of 30 on the penalty kill. You'd expect the Darryl Sutter Hockey Club to be a little higher on that penalty kill. Cross ice pass here for Jack Johnson. Johnson on to Letestu. Letestu rims it around the wall. Picked up there by Johansson up high. Johansson. Again, the Jackets going with 4 forwards here. Letestu in front off the stick of Quick. Atkinson, Johansson, top of the circle. Lets it fly. The shot is blocked by Doughty. Doughty in a battle there with Atkinson. Doughty ties up Atkinson. Rimmed around the boards there by Regeer. Regeer and Doughty put together here for this one here tonight. I'd suggest they likely be matched up most of the night against the Johansson line.
Yeah, you're right. And now they're out there for the first penalty kill unit. You're going to have Dubinsky out here with Foligno and Anisimov now.
Here, moved by Muzzin off a stick in the air. Jackets will play it. It's Foligno away from Toffoli. He takes a little bit of an extra shot there at the Jackets winger. Artem Anisimov back to retrieve the puck. Kings have doubled up on the shot clock. They've doubled up on the scoreboard here. 35 seconds remaining in the Clifford penalty. Jackets looking for that equalizer here. Dubinsky trying to squeeze through along the wall. Green gets a piece of him. Tossed behind the net. Lifted up and out. Bouncing puck goes wide of the Jackets net. McElhaney will tee it up there for Savard. Down to 21 seconds of Jackets power play with Savard leading the rush up ice. Jackets with 2 defensemen here now for the remaining time on the power play. That's Savard. Fires his shot. It's blocked in front by Doughty. Kings attempt to clear. Knocked down by Savard. Down to 5 seconds of the Jackets power play. On to Connaughton, who quickly feeds Johansson. Johansson looks to the left wing. In front for Atkinson. Cannot convert on that pass from Hartnell, who set him up right there on the doorstep.
Looks like it just bounced between Atkinson's legs. He couldn't get it on his skate up to his stick. But nice try by those two.
Here's Doughty. Rink wide. Picked up by Regeer. Left wing pass for Clifford at center. Clifford tosses it into the zone. Shore. Jersey number 37. Reaching for it. Wenberg. Keeping it away from Nolan. Wenberg head up. Tosses it behind the net. Leopold is there. Jordan Leopold chipped off the wall. Knocked down by Shore. Dishes on the wing. Nolan with a shot that goes off a leg and wide. Goluboff holding off Nolan. This is Wenberg leading the march up ice. On to Skilly, who has the Jackets goal. Tossed into the zone. McBain bumped there by Calvert. Right wing King can't get a stick on it. The puck sails into Jackets territory. LA keeping those shifts short here. This is the end of a lengthy road trip for them. For the Jackets, it's the 3rd and 4 nights.
Yeah, I tell you what, LA does a good job of defending and quick transition. Quick out of the zone as a group. Columbus, you look at that power play they had. They didn't get set up and get a good opportunity. And 5-on-5, they're having a tough time getting in the zone, getting anything going.
They didn't get a shot on goal at all. And here McElhaney will touch up and hold on. 3:28 left. Opening period. Fast moving. Kings lead.
Wide Arena where the Kings lead the Jackets 2-1. You're looking at Scott Hartnell, who's playing in his 1,000th game. This is the Hartnell family up here. Dad Bob and Joy and his brother Devin and Chad and his sister Kyla and some nephews down here. What does this mean to you, Bill, to have everybody here?
Well, we're pretty proud of Scott and his career and what he's done, and it's a real pleasure to be here to share it with him.
Did you ever think, Joy, that your son would play in 1,000 NHL games?
No, this is huge. We're really proud of him and happy to be here in Columbus, Ohio.
Be nice to have a goal, wouldn't it?
Oh, well, we need some. No way. We're down 1, so keep her going.
All right, we're counting out one from Hartnell, Rums.
Keep her going.
That is fantastic. You talk about high-quality people. Those Hartnells, I'll tell you what, hard to find people like that. Are they ever proud?
What a celebration, and they should be. Scotty Hartnell, joining the Jackets this year, becoming an instant leader. If you were with us for Blue Jackets Live pregame, you heard a number of the Blue Jackets talk of his impact in that dressing room and how even Jack Johnson, as you get a look at Bill and family again, even Jack Johnson saying, hey, I've been in the league for a long time, but I've got questions to ask Scotty as well.
Well, he's been through a lot, Scotty. I mean, he's been to the Stanley Cup Finals. He's played in an All-Star game. Remember that series where they were down 3-0 in that series and came back and won in the playoffs, and they came back and defied the odds in Philly and went all the way. He's done a lot of things. He played with a lot of great players. So naturally experienced, Jeff, as you know. You can always ask the veteran.
And I loved your interview where he talked in terms of how you treat people and learn from his parents. And you want people to treat you with respect, you've got to treat them with respect. And he made that very, very clear.
Yeah, that's right. He's obviously, when you hear his dad, Bill, and his mom, Joy, speak, you can tell that they're just salt of the earth, good down-to-earth people.
Got a chance to talk to the family here this morning. His brothers are here. They had a smile from ear to ear. So right now, the Jackets trail, and they'll be looking for some leadership from Hartnell on the ice here.
Well, like his dad, any dad of any NHL or hockey player, wants more, wants that next goal.
Off quick, and it ricochets all the way back to the Jackets' territory. Feder Tootin, clearing past the center. Skilly touches up. And we talked earlier about the Jackets' mounting injuries. Take a look here. The list is full. We've run out of space. The Columbus Blue Jackets, no less than 8 regulars out tonight.
Well, and there was a lot of talk when they had 9 defensemen in the lineup. What are you doing? There's no extra forwards. You got defensemen playing forwards. And now he's down to 6. And it sounds like Prout and Wisniewski, we could see them this weekend, but it's still up in the air. So that's been tough.
Jody, a couple of great friends of Scotty Hartnell, we haven't even mentioned them, are in the building here tonight to honor him. One of them you'll get an opportunity to talk to here at the conclusion of this first period, and a pretty good hockey player in his own right in the National Hockey League for a long time.
Yes, Wade Redden is the man you speak of, and still a pretty good hockey player. We had a staff skate today, and Wade donned the blades out there, and it was a fun little day. I think he got a couple game winners.
Well, if we lose any more defensemen, we may want to sign them. Not that I want to take over for Jarmo Kekalainen by any stretch of the imagination here. But just a reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, look forward to Miller Time later in tonight's game, brought to you by Miller Lite. You can never have enough defensemen.
That's right, and it's amazing. Like we said just a few minutes ago, 9 defensemen. He had, what was that, 2 games ago?
Right.
And now Todd's down to 6. And he mentioned that today in the press conference.
Jackets lose 2 on Friday night. Ryan Murray will be out for considerable time with that high ankle sprain. James Wisniewski also with that lower body injury out of the lineup. They certainly miss him on the power play. Witnessed that first opportunity here tonight. And of course, Dalton Prout, who played a pretty good hockey game Saturday in Ottawa, he's now out. A race for the puck. Atkinson will get there first, but not before Quick is able to deal it off into the corner. Picked up there by Muzzin, rimmed around the wall, up high. Jackets, Hartnell with less than a minute to go. Hartnell trying to sweep it away. Carter, rink wide. Stepping up and across the line here, joining the rush. Doughty to Carter. And where is it? McElhaney made the stop, and he'll get the whistle. Or will he? He drops it off. Play continues. Outstanding stop nonetheless off the stick of Carter by Curtis McElhaney.
I want to save, and there he is adjusting his equipment. The LA Kings, we're going to fight here.
Jared Bull and Clifford. Perhaps a bit of a payback for that boarding penalty earlier on to Clifford.
Well, these guys knew. They both know that they're willing and able to fight. Clifford with 6 majors on the year, fighting majors. Jared Bull with 8. This is only Clifford's 2nd fight in a visitor's building, though, this year. Ooh, mostly at home. With Jared Bull, his team's down a goal. I think he's drawing the fans back into this game here as he takes his fight over. And they're going to let him go.
Bull throwing him from downtown. Clifford's a pretty tough customer, but boy, did Bull land a few here tonight. Wow.
That was a big fight. Couple of boys that I think they fought in the past. Good job by Jared Bull. And this is the end, as Jared is really using that left hand to keep Clifford where he wants him. Linesman just keeping right out of this. Crowd's into it. Now let's look at that last LA chance we were looking at, or we were talking about. Right in front here, great shot. Carter gets a shot, McElhinney makes a save. And then the Kings kind of curl away to the bench, and that's why we thought there was a whistle. But there was no one around, so
I think it initially went up his blocker. He had no idea where it was, but that was quite a stop nonetheless against one of the top snipers in the National Hockey League.
Yeah.
Whether or not the fans like him or not, he can certainly find the back of the net, and an outstanding stop there by McElhinney. And you'll see here as McElhinney, as we mentioned, totally losing any idea where it was, and it went right into the blocker and then came bouncing out. So final seconds tick off, 5-minute majors to Clifford and Bull. And again, a reminder that Wade Redden in the house here tonight to honor his good buddy will join another good friend, Jody Shelley, in the first intermission.
Yeah, we'll have a couple questions for Wade. That'll be a nice little, good to catch up with him.
Shots are 10-6 in favor of the LA Kings. The Jackets went better than 7.5 minutes without a shot. But a one-goal LA lead after 20 minutes. Goals by King and Toffoli. Skilly opened the scoring with his 6th and his first in 14 games. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Huntington Bank. At Huntington, you can bank like a real fan. Get your Blue Jackets debit card at BlueJacketsBanking.com. By Ohio Health, the official healthcare provider of your Columbus Blue Jackets. And by 5-Hour Energy Shots, now with a new, improved taste. All but set for second period play here at Nationwide Arena. Jody, how about the IGS Energy performers?
Well, two guys we talked about, a couple of goal scorers. Jack Skilly played the puck towards the net and went off the defender. McBain, that was the first goal of the night. And then the second guy to get the goal right there, right away, the White King. Big man going to the net. Their line has been very effective so far tonight, as he also assisted on Toffoli's goal. And there is Jared Bull, busy end of that first period.
Whoa. What about if you missed it between Clifford and Bull?
Ooh.
Decided win there, and I see Clifford's eye already a bit of a shiner there as Bull landed several. And Clifford is no slouch. He's a pretty good fighter in his own right.
Yes.
No match for Jared Bull on this night.
And no thank you to that action.
Here's Tootin. Surprised the officials let them go as long as they did.
You know, you've seen different instances this year. Sometimes they get right in, sometimes they get in before the fight even really unfolds. And there they really let them go.
Right wing, Williams. Clearing pass to center. Lewis with a backhand for Stoll. Stoll throws it in front, redirected the active stick there of Lewis, but reading it perfectly and tracking it down was McElhinney.
That was a nice play by Lewis. Stoll on his backhand here, but Lewis just gets that one hand on the stick and gets it around Tootin. Tootin does a nice job. But how about that outreached left arm by Lewis? Good job by Curtis McElhinney to stay with that puck that entire way. And we talked about the injuries. Sergei Bobrovsky was on the ice today skating. First time on the ice, not doing much, not going down and doing much kind of movement, but out there with some pucks. Not going to stress those groins out. And I asked him about McElhinney, boy, and he just lit right up. He said, boy, I'm so happy for him. He's playing so well. And it's good to see that from Sergei, who does a lot of work and pays a lot of attention. He's happy the way Curtis, we're all happy the way Curtis is playing, but good to hear that from Sergei Bobrovsky.
Now Sergei at least a couple of weeks away, but the good thing is he sees how well McElhinney has played, and there's not really any reason is he gobbles up the rebound after the initial shot there at Carter, but he doesn't have to rush back because guarding the nets very effectively is that young man there, Curtis McElhaney.
Hit the ice, get ready to join the battle on Blue Jackets Live on Fox Sports Ohio. Blue Jackets Live is brought to you, as always, by your Central Ohio Toyota dealers.
Nice interview with Wade Redden there, the former National Hockey League defenseman, and a pretty good one at that. Redden grew up with his good friend Scott Hartnell, and that's quite a testament to him making his way to Columbus to be here and celebrate the occasion.
Well, Scott was very proud of Wade Redden playing his 1,000th game. Took a little while to get there, but means a lot to Scotty for him to be here.
A lot of folks in here, losing an edge there, but getting right back up. Golova. Any other notables making their way here?
Let's see. I think it's good buddy Kimmo Timonen, who he played most of his career with. They got traded together from Nashville to Philadelphia. And minus the games here in Columbus, he's played almost his whole career with Kimmo Timonen. He's looking to make his way back in the National Hockey League. He's had blood clot issues this year, 8 months ago actually. So
it's quite a classy move in his own right. Flyers will be here Friday night. And Timonen will not play until he's 100%, but he is back skating. And that's really a good sign. General Manager Ron Hextall indicating that he's been given the green light there as Quick makes the stop. Class act. Former teammate of yours and Timonen as well.
yes.
Columbus Blue Jackets hockey is brought to you by Nationwide, the official sponsor of the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Corey Trop, he's had a nice opportunity here in the last few games, and I think he's taken advantage of it. Him and Nick Foligno and Brandon Dubinsky have done a nice job on recovering pucks, getting attempts at net, getting points. You know, they look at the weekend that just passed, those two games, quick games back-to-back. Two totally different. 7-2 win at 7-2, wasn't it? Win at home against St. Louis, 7-1 against St. Louis, I'm sorry. And then you go in the next night in that next game, and it's just like completely different, but they found a way to win, and you got to, it's very promising to see the team do that, the Columbus Blue Jackets do that the next night.
All the scoring at Ottawa in period number 3 as the puck is sent towards the net, steered wide by McElhaney. But how about this, Jody? The Jackets have scored 10 even strength goals in those two games back-to-back last weekend. They had only 14. They scored 10 in the two games, had only 14 in the entire month of November when they played 13 times.
Yeah, and I love the way they did it. They waited. It was a tight game. It was 0-0 after 2 periods, but they come out with the win. I thought that told a lot about the group right now. And here you're playing the defending Stanley Cup champions. You come out and score the first goal. It's a tight game right now. I don't think the Jackets have got on their game. You have to credit LA. They've come out with some good speed, some good tight checking. But Curtis McElhaney making those saves. We've seen a couple big ones. These guys know they've got to push on against this team, but wait for their opportunity.
Carter will take the draw. Jackets send it up, but not out from that faceoff. A long shot, gloved, and will be held by McElhaney again. 16:28 left here in period number 2.
And something we did talk about was after that freewheeling kind of high-scoring game for the Jackets, great blowout win against the Blues. You go in and they really played a choppy game, a lot of whistles, right? You know, and sometimes teams get impatient or frustrated at home, and it was kind of an advantage in that way that the Blue Jackets stayed patient, waited for their opportunity, kind of the way Arizona did to them last week, to get that 2 points.
Carter shovels to the corner, picked up there by King. Jack Johnson defending. Puck comes in front of the Jackets net. Savard able to steer it up the wall and out. Carter dumps back in. McElhaney will leave it right there for Jack Johnson. Right wing, Foligno. Away from Dwight King. Carries into the zone. Hands it here to Calvert. Backhands it in front, and it's steered wide by Jonathan Quick. Green tying up the Jackets forward Calvert. Matt Calvert seeing an opportunity here to move up on this line with Dubinsky and Foligno.
We're with Jared Boll in the box. Todd's going to mix a couple things up for sure.
Johnson in deep, drops it into the slot. Skilly tried to pull the trigger, broken up there by Lewis. Here's Williams, guarding down that right side. Jackets break it up at the line, and Anisimov the other way. Artem Anisimov looks to the right wing. Skilly back for Anisimov, and he can't get a stick on it. Williams down. Right wing feed on to Stoll, left side. Lewis, the right-handed shot down that left wing. Stoll is there. Knocked down was Stoll. And in turn, the Jackets survive. Slips and falls, and Stoll looks like he's a little difficulty there. He might have twisted an ankle or something, but he's on the bench there right now and in some difficulty. Keep an eye on Stoll. Up high, Regier on for Doughty. Shot sails wide of the net. Regier, Lewis. Dustin Brown, the captain, backhands in front. Skilly is there defending and tosses it off the wall of the LA line. Regier for Doughty. Drew Doughty, averaging just under 30 minutes a night.
Yeah, he's a workhorse. All situations. Real laid-back kind of guy, but that might help him in this situation where he plays a lot of minutes. He's got the skill set. Just seems to be pretty carefree out there on the ice, too.
Well, you know, with injuries and the like, and again the Voinov situation under suspension for an off-ice incident. Doughty's called on to play that additional time, and certainly capable of it. Second overall pick the year he was drafted. Long lead pass there for Williams, trying to sprint him into the clear. Icing the call.
Right now on FoxSportsOhio.com, a closer look at a milestone for Scott Hartnell and chances that lie ahead for the Blue Jackets. A Buckeye freshman putting himself among college basketball's elite, and are the Cavs still in the mix to land Ray Allen? Get complete coverage of all of today's action involving Ohio sports. It's brought to you by 1-800-SafeAuto.com.
The band tonight playing his 1,000th National Hockey League game. Friends and family in attendance as Scotty Hartnell enjoys this night. Again, he'll be honored prior to face-off on Friday.
Against the team who he played 7 seasons with, Philadelphia Flyers.
Left wing feed, sails into Jackets territory. This is Leopold. Off the wall. Connaughton. Green has it go off his skate. Hartnell battling along the boards. It gets away from Johansson. That one deflected wide as Atkinson got the stick on it, but sent wide. Now Hartnell battling against Green. Keeps the feet moving. Hartnell now, dishes to the point, stepping up is Leopold. Greg Leopold throws it across the goal mark. Here's a drive by Connaughton. That misses the mark and ricochets all the way back into Jackets territory.
You saw Leopold there. Good heads-up play. He saw Jack Skilly get rewarded by throwing a puck across crease. Surprised that one hit nothing and went wide, but I like the mindset of getting that puck to that dangerous area in front of quick. Good play by Jordan Leopold.
LA out shooting the Jackets 4-2 so far here in the second period. A scoreless second. All the goal scoring coming in the first 8 minutes. Skilly opened the scoring, 1:46 in, 32 seconds later. It was tied by Dwight King, and then at 8:01, Toffoli with his 15th put Los Angeles in front. Again, all coming 8 minutes into the opening period. We're all but through 8 minutes of the second here right now. As the Jackets look to the right wing boards, Foligno hit from behind there. Crowd looking for a penalty to be called. Foligno getting a number.
I'm not sure if the puck was even there. He just kind of touched it.
Wenberg moving in. Denied. The stop made by Quick, who held his own, as Wenberg darted to the net. A clearing pass knocked down by King. Good active stick there. Now King moves to the front of the net. I'll tell you what, he was acquired to be a good, tough, rugged winger, but he's got some skill as well. That was a nice play.
He's got some confidence, too, trying to pull off a move like that.
In front, McElhaney. How about that play? He saw the centering pass, got the stick on it, and then covers up. Heads-up play by Curtis McElhaney. Here as we go to break, the hit there, McNabb on Foligno.
And we're back at Nationwide Arena, where the LA Kings are leading 2-1. They're playing very tight defensively. Watch this, taking away the middle of the ice. Not much room to make plays. Corey Trop gets it in the middle there, but right away, they're good at getting going the other way also. That was a small glimpse of what they're doing in the defensive zone, but really, Jeff, they do a nice job of keeping that middle tight and taking away the time and space of the Columbus Blue Jackets when they do get the puck. They've got to make quicker decisions.
Well, they win the draw there, do the Kings. Muzzin's shot deflected, but McElhaney right there able to get a glove on it and holds on.
And that's something else. When you have speed going up ice, you're going to push back the defensemen and the forwards of the LA Kings, and that's something the Blue Jackets did well against the St. Louis Blues. They want to get that on that attack at all time mode right now. Get things going down the other end in the offensive zone.
There's Muzzin. Tossed back here to Green. Green to Foley. Foley dumps in. King in pursuit. Carter lurking on that left side. He'll play it. Tries the quick wraparound. McElhaney hugging that far post. One thing about Carter, he can get to the net in a hurry, and then with that long stick and the long reach.
Yeah, he's got strong skating stride too, so if he wants to get there, he can get there in a hurry.
Green back to retrieve the puck. Both teams change on the fly as we approach the midway point of the second period in the hockey game. Left wing feed, that's Lewis. With Stoll and Williams. Puck gobbled up and held.
How hard did Jared Stoll go to the net there? You see that? They just go hard to the middle, throwing pucks off the... Yeah, that's Scotty Hartnell's stick. He's marked them with that 1,000. That's the game he's playing tonight.
Now, what would he be doing? Is that something that these are game-used sticks here tonight? So I would think that those tickets or those sticks are destined for something or someone. And he has his own charity. Perhaps maybe make some of those available to family and the charity as well.
Well, special nights, he's using a lot of sticks every game, and you mark them with usually the same way or something that kind of reminds you of something. And tonight, these are ones that he won't get lost in the shuffle. He'll have them and they'll stand out with that marking of 1,000 games on it.
Shot deflected. Leopold knocking down the LA forward up high. Jackets able to clear it. It's Corey Trop down the left wing to center. Trop dishes to the corner. Out there here with Jared Bull and Letestu. So a little minor fine-tuning by Coach Todd Richards here in the second.
Yeah, he's got Calvert up on the other line, switching places with Corey Trop. So
now Trop looks to the right side. Goluboff rims it around the boards. Picked up here. Johansson. Williams turns around the Jackets forward. Johansson slow to get up. Offside the call.
Now that was an incident there where Johansson didn't get out against Doughty. Got out with a quick change.
I think he shook up a little bit here.
Nationwide Arena, the Jackets down 2-1. Brad Larson, do you think you guys have found your game yet or still looking for it right now?
Well, they're doing a good job. They're smothering us. They're a big, fast team, and if you don't get pucks behind them, you turn pucks over, you play a lot of time in your own zone.
A tough physical team makes the chances a few harder to come by, I guess. How do you increase your opportunities in your own zone?
Yeah, well, I mean, they've won 2 cups for years. They know how to play. They play tight, so you got to force them into tough spots, and usually if you're playing below their goal line, you're in a good situation.
When Brad Larson says they're a big, tough team, well, let's see. Look after the first period. LA had 20 hits. The Blue Jackets had 6. They're physical. They're on you. And like you said, smothering the players of the Blue Jackets. That just means being on top of them when they're trying to make those plays with the puck.
They are fast, and boy, can they move quickly here in transition. Nolan, for sure. 4th line out there here right now. Ryan Johansson, incidentally, has won 7 of his 11 draws. Jackets with a bit of an edge here overall. 7-4 though is Ryan Johansson, who's now first jacket into LA territory. Regehr looks to the left wing. And as we mentioned, as much as possible, we have seen that Doughty-Regehr combination matched up against the Jackets' top line.
After every Blue Jackets game, Fox Sports Ohio breaks down the game. We talk to the players and the coaches on Blue Jackets Live, presented by IGS Energy. IGS Energy, take control of your natural gas costs. Enroll today at IGSenergy.com.
And you mentioned that pair, Doughty and that man Regehr, who had played his 1000th game last year. And I'll tell you what, he had a horrific injury. When he was 19 years old, he was in a car accident, broke both of his legs. And his NHL career, the start of it was in doubt, Jeff. But for him to play 1,000 games and celebrate it for just an all-around great guy, one of the great guys in the National Hockey League, hats off to him in facing adversity early and throughout his career.
He's a quality person, no question about that. As we mentioned in that first period, due to the injury to Martinez, he had to play some 30 minutes the other night in Tampa, and that's the first time in 10 years that he's played that much hockey. And of course, most of his career was played in Calgary, and several of those seasons under the watchful eye of Daryl Sutter.
Yeah, and he's one of the only 98 D-men in the NHL to play in the NHL to reach 1,000 games. So only 98 of them have reached that milestone. It's amazing. Under 300 guys have only... Scotty's the 297th guy to play 1,000 games in this league. And Regehr's one of 98. And like I said, started with a bad injury. And I've heard nothing but great stories about Robyn Regehr.
Quite an accomplishment to hit that 1,000-game plateau. Up on the left wing, Letestu able to backhand it deep into Los Angeles territory. Moved by McNabb. Picked up here by Carter, rink wide. White King trying to get by Savard, who defends. Nice move by Savard.
Yeah, that was a quick heads-up play by Savard. He knew King, the big man, was coming in for a hit.
Moved out of the way, but took the puck with him.
Yeah, that was
smooth.
Fancy.
Toffoli right now has the go-ahead goal. Big rebound given up there, but the Jackets able to control it. And Anisimov darts ahead here for Skilly. Puck sails out of the zone. Toffoli goes the other way, and he'll dump in. Kings will change up. A scoreless second. All the goal scoring in the first 8 minutes.
That shot towards Quick was high. He hasn't seen much action here.
Here's Stoll with a shot. Oh boy, what a nice glove stop there by McElhinney as Stoll comes in off the wing. And the glove stop by McElhinney.
We've seen a few of those glove stops. That's the 22nd shot on net. That's a quick release. He's at the top of the crease. Watch the flex of this stick. Garrett Stoll leans on that one. Curtis just looks confident. And, you know, with each game he's going to play, he's going to find a rhythm out there. And you can really sense that. He's played well for a while now. Let's be honest here. He's played well for a long stretch.
6-2 in his last 8.
And he's had to come in relief in some, but now he's got the net. And every time he's in practice, he's practicing as a number one. He's preparing as a number one. And you can see it in this game. He's finding that rhythm.
I credit it all to that new style that he has developed under Ian Clark. More of a stand-up, in-control goaltender than we have seen at any time. Pretty well in control of his game at all times. By the way, the Blue Jackets, as the Kings continue to pepper shots at McElhinney, Jackets' last shot came at 8 minutes and 8 seconds of the second period. We're down to 6:26 remaining here in the second right now. Jackets have got to generate some offense here for Coach Todd Richards.
Well, they've only had 3 shots this period. I mean, they've got to get down there and pound the pucks at Quick, one of the best goalies in the National Hockey League. But to do that, you've got to get the puck, keep possession, support each other, and work it down the ice. And filter pucks towards the goaltender.
23-9, the shots currently favor LA.
And Doughty's playing against this Johansson line, as you pointed out. And Calvert's been adjusted up to that Dubinsky line. And that might be an effort in Todd Richards to have that more of an offensive threat on that second line with Foligno and Dubinsky.
Clifford, the shot fought off there by McElhinney. Nolan to the point, takes it Back from Regeer, tosses far side, and Johansson on to Hartnell across the line. Hartnell now, Johansson back to Hartnell, scores! It's game 1,000, and it's a goal, tic-tac-toe. The Jackets celebrate, tying it up. Their first shot since the 8-minute mark of the second period.
Well, that's got to feel good for Scotty Hartnell and his teammates tonight. They're going to point it up to his family up in the stands, friends and family, little salute there. And there they are, they're dancing. And his dad, Bill, mentioned it during the interview Dave Metzold had with his parents. They need another goal, wanted more of the Blue Jackets.
Lucky 13 for Hartnell. And that extends a point streak to 3 games. Make that 4 games. That's his 3rd goal in the last 4 games. He has 6 points in the last 4. Johansson will pick up the primary assist to pick up his 5th point in the last 3.
Beautiful play by Ryan Johansson to pass that puck right on Scotty Hartnell's tape. Just release that right along the ice.
So the Jackets outshot 24-10, but they tied it up here with a little more than 5 minutes left. Kopitar, right wing. Justin Brown, quiet night for him. Kopitar, the shot, it sails wide. Atkinson picks up the 2nd assist, primary assist to Johansson. 14-16, the time of Hartnell's 13th of the campaign. And he gets quite a hand from the crowd. Johansson, as we mentioned, the primary assist, the 2nd assist to Atkinson. 2-2 the score. Less than 4.5 minutes left. Up high. Here's a drive off the blocker of McElhaney. In front and another goal. Carter. Again, next shift after the Jackets score. 2nd time tonight. The Kings come bouncing back.
Oh, this is that same line. Toffoli, King, Carter. And they've been dynamic. They've been all over the place. 3 goals by this line. You see this rebound. Heads up play by the defenseman. And that's Braden McNabb. And there's Jeff Carter stick on the ice. He doesn't need much room there to put that puck past McElhaney. McElhaney there is relying on his defenseman to get to that stick.
Carter with a goal and an assist tonight. 3-2 Los Angeles. Jackets will look back on this season on so many occasions. Next shift or next minute after they find the back of the net, allowing the opposition back in the game.
Yeah, it's not ideal. You want to keep that momentum. As you can see, a little jubilation right here. LA with a quick goal after Columbus tied it up. 3-2 the Kings right now. And Hartnell in his 1,000th game here at Nationwide Arena. Or 1,000th game in the league here at Nationwide Arena. Puts it past Jonathan Quick. Points at Johansson after that pass back to him. Nice little give and go. See the expression on Quick's face. Not too happy, but nice celebration by Hartnell.
3:51 left. 2nd period. Teams have traded goals. Long shot. Stick to side. The crowd, as the Carter goal is announced, showing their displeasure with the former Blue Jacket.
Wednesday night, the basketball Buckeyes are on the Big Ten Network. Penn State heads to Columbus for a conference showdown with Ohio State. Tip-off at 7 on BTN or stream it on BTN to go.
Yeah, Mark Letestu, he's a guy that had a really nice goal last game in Ottawa. That shot down the wing. And when you ask his teammates about his snapshot, they say, boy, I tell you what, he's one of the best they've seen. He's quick, and it's very accurate. I don't know if you saw it, Jeff, off the post there.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when Robin Leonard, the goalie for the Ottawa Senators, just got it through his stick like, wow.
He was not happy in that hockey game and had some strong, pointed words for his teammates after the game, although Dave Cameron, in the paper the next day, Sunday, not happy with Leonard's reaction. So that type of thing is better off kept in the dressing room. Didn't like the emotion get the best of him.
That goal by Letestu was his 6th of the season. He's only played 23 games due to injury, so he's been pretty effective when he's been out there. Also very effective in the defensive zone, as we talk about all the time, and in the faceoff circle.
Without question. 56% in the faceoff circle here tonight. Connaughton on Leopold. Connaughton takes it. Pressure coming there from Dustin Brown. Johansson now at the offensive blue line. Looking for Matt Calvert. Stepping up. Foligno unable to get a stick on it. Hustling back here is Leopold. Gabrick in deep. Kopitar comes up with the puck away from Leopold. Thrown in front for Gabrick, who is tied up. Good defensive play there by Connaughton. Jackets move up ice, and it's Calvert. Right wing feed for Foligno. Foligno trying to dance around Regier. Doughty in the corner. Foligno wraparound attempt. A second attempt. No. Quick. Ever. Quick. Pardon the pun. But he's able to fish that puck back in with that goal stick. And that was a quick reaction by the LA netminder.
Watch 71 here. Nick Foligno takes it to his backhand. Then he tries to get around Regier to get to that puck. Matty Calvert gets dumped there by Doughty. Watch this here. Tries to beat him to that post. He knows that stick's there. He's trying to get it out around it. A good healthy whack by Calvert. That's why he got dumped.
Centering feed. Defending in front was Gabrick. Brown with Kopitar. Brown deals it ahead. Kopitar. Far side, that's Foligno. Takes a hit from Dustin Brown. Tootin can't make the play. Gabrick got a stick on him. Here is Dubinsky trying to walk around Regier. Doughty. Right side for Williams. Williams takes a hit along the wall from Foligno. Late in the shift for Nick. Rolling puck deep in LA territory. Picked up there by Doughty. Right side. Williams. Cross ice pass. Skilly gets a stick on it. On the turnover. Carried in by Wenberg. Wenberg takes a hip check there. Along the wall from Doughty.
That was a big hit from Doughty. Good job by Wenberg. Take that hit and keep going.
Less than a minute to go. Skilly deflects the Jack Johnson shot. Here's Wenberg up high. Floats one in. Save. Quick. Rebound. Left in front. Skilly a backhand. Quick was down, but he couldn't get it to the net. Skilly's attempt sailed wide.
You see how close and tight those LA Kings are in front of the net.
Long shift for Doughty and Regier. Jackets forced back into neutral ice. Jack Johnson had to go off his skates. Stole to the line. Picked up there? No. Jack Johnson tried to take that Savard, or rather Johansson tried to take the Savard pass. It fails.
Well, I see that as that's a missed opportunity right there, because you mentioned Doughty and Regier out there for a while. And here they are battling in front. When you get those guys out there for a while, and then you get Johansson on the ice, don't want to take an icing at this point of the game. You want to keep pressure on those guys. They had a long way to go from there in front of the Quick all the way to their bench in this second period. And the Jackets go and don't connect and end up icing the puck, allowing them to change.
Quick shot from the draw, and McElhaney had to be sharp. Hartnell with a hit there on Muzzin. Similarly, Green was not.
He got a high stick. Green got a high stick, went undetected.
Atkinson was right there, so up high here, King. Blocked, and that'll do it. Green is letting the official know here of his displeasure for not calling the high stick. As you get a look at Carter, whose goal, incidentally, the go-ahead goal is his 270th of his NHL career. After 40 minutes, this one, a one-goal game. LA in front. Columbus Blue Jackets hockey on Fox Sports Ohio, brought to you by Roush Honda. The best way to say Honda is Roush Honda. And by Ticketmaster. Score. Get the only NHL tickets sold by fans and verified by Ticketmaster. It's all hockey, no hassle. Right now at NHL.com/ticket exchange. Teams have returned to the ice moments away from the start of the third period. Jody, how about the PNC game summary after 40 minutes?
And you see the two things highlighted. The Kings with 27 shots. Jared Stoll has 4. And how about the hits? We know that LA was physical in the first. The Blue Jackets have picked it up and closed the gap. But Dustin Brown, who's always up there in the top league leaders in hits, he has 6 hits for the LA Kings. Matt Green has 5. And for the Jackets, Matty Calvert, he's got 3.
Any thoughts here as we get set for the third period as to what might have been discussed in the Blue Jackets dressing room?
Well, they got to get the pace back up. They got to initiate and go after the LA Kings. I thought they did a great job with St. Louis when they were here the other night, going after them, keeping them off kilter. This line on the ice right now, these guys have done the damage. King, Toffoli, and Carter. The Blue Jackets got to match up better against this line.
Blue Jackets certainly played well in the third period in Ottawa. It was scoreless after 2. They need another big third period here. Doughty on for Regier. Left wing feed for King. Rifled wide of the net, far side. Jack Johnson finishing the check, and a punishing one at that on Toffoli. Jackets dump it down. And icing is the call.
That was a good play by Jack Johnson. We like when he plays that physical game. He's able to. Former Los Angeles Kings himself, played there for the beginning of his career, lived with Rob Blake. Played had a lot of good questions for Rob Blake when he was a young kid playing there with him. Rob Blake is now in the front office, assistant general manager with the Los Angeles Kings. But Jack Johnson gives him a lot of credit for his early days there in the league. And boy, I tell you what, he's a real veteran presence on the blue line for the Columbus Blue Jackets. Leads the team in time on ice most nights. Whereas after 2 periods, Jack Johnson has played 15 minutes and 35 seconds on ice. And how about Drew Doughty? 18-23, 3 minutes more. Almost 3 minutes. Look at this last play at the net. Jack Johnson's strength, boxing out Jared Stoll to the right of your screen. What does that do? Let's Curtis McElhinney see that puck all the way in.
Doughty's on his way to another 30-minute night. His average just under 30 minutes, 29 plus.
And he's been matched up against Ryan Johansson most of the night, and that's why Ryan Johansson and Scott Hartnell connected, though. When Doughty was on the ice on that 3-on-2, the advantage they had, they took advantage of it. Jackets have got to do that more often here. Only 13 shots on net.
They've got to spend some time in LA territory. Again, the Kings, we talked about their quick transition out of their own zone. Jackets have not spent a lot of time in LA territory tonight, to say the least.
But the chances they are getting, they're making sure they're cashing in on them, and that's keeping this game right where it's at. But I agree with you. More time in the offensive zone. Draw some penalties. Create something.
Face-off will come to McElhinney's right. Kopitar line out there presently for Coach Daryl Sutter. Dubinsky and Kopitar will take this draw to the right of McElhinney. Won by Kopitar. Brown's shot is blocked. Played here by Regier, left point. Robin Regier floats one in. Ricochets off a leg and wide. Kopitar trying to toss it in front. Gabrick with a shot. Brown trying to fish that puck free. And plays called. McElhinney covering up.
Brown there gets talked to by Foligno. There's a scramble in front of the net. Curtis finds the puck, then he covers it up. Look at Brown just still digging in there, trying to dig it out.
He did dig it up.
Yeah.
The whistle had been blown.
Like he was fishing for the puck there.
From the faceoff, Kopitar wins it. Brown gets a quality shot that goes off the blocker of McElhaney. Up high. McNabb. Brown into the slot. Gabrick with a quick shot. Rebound, scores. Dustin Brown sends home the rebound after the initial shot by Gabrick. It's 4-2 LA.
Let's take a look at this face-off play. They just ran it the same position. They ran the same play before. Dustin Brown gets that puck, quick release. And from there, the Jackets are scrambling. Watch Dustin Brown here. Gets the rebound back. Top shelf, no chance for Curtis McElhaney on that shot. Watch Dustin Brown. He doesn't just give and stand still. He moves and ends up finding that rebound.
Gabrick will pick up the primary assist. All that the result of winning a draw. Back-to-back draws won by Kopitar in Jackets territory.
And that was a set play right to Brown, who just stepped about 1 foot off the hash mark as the puck hit the ice. And right to him. Jackets now two-goal deficit. Need to answer here quickly would be nice.
Far side of the ice. That's Tootin. On ahead. Goluboff. Anisimov. The puck handed to Skilly. Off the defender for LA.
Jack Skilly there had the puck in a great area, but didn't get a chance to release it. Good play by the defenseman in front of the net, Braden McNabb.
Icing the call against LA. Face-off coming back in Los Angeles territory. 2:42 into this third period. 33-13 are the shots favoring Los Angeles.
And Todd's going to leave this lineup there. Corey Trop, Jared Boll, Mark Letestu. See if they can get something going now. Generate some momentum in the favor of the Columbus Blue Jackets here. Early in the third period, but down by 2 goals. As LA just put one on the board. See if these guys can roll around on the LA Kings lines here and try to create something at the net.
From the faceoff, Jack Johnson jumping up in the play. Carter hearing it from the crowd. Dishes it on the right wing, offside the call.
So there you go, a little broken up play at the line. As Letestu kind of won that faceoff, but as Jack Johnson pinched in, LA came up the ice. And Carter was out there to take the faceoff for the Kings. He's off now, and they have their 4th line out there against the Blue Jackets' 4th line.
Stoll trying to hold up Letestu. To battle along the wall. Corey Trop trying to dig it free. Laid there. By Doughty down the right wing, Williams. Here's Stoll, and right now the Kings having their way just walking up ice.
How about Doughty? He's out there now. And that's the advantage of having a guy that can play all that ice time. They left him out there against the 4th line, thinking that Todd was trying to bait them in. Trying to bait LA into putting out the other defensive pair. Then they would quickly put out the Johansson line. Nice strategy by Todd there. But Sutter, Daryl Sutter not taking that. They can play him. He could probably play 2 or 3 minute shifts. Doughty.
Another draw won by LA, and Brown gets a quality shot that's turned aside. Right wing feed for Johansson. Trying to walk around Gabrick, who wasn't biting there. Gabrick, the primary assist on the Brown goal, a second assist, and it's the second point for McNabb. Got assist on the go-ahead goal by Carter. Now comes back on the second goal here by Brown. It gives LA a 2-goal lead. Dustin Brown. Centered. Oh, the stick breaks there at Brown. Right in the shaft as he was set to let one fly. Jackets Atkinson. Doughty is there. Those guys left the ice tonight. Doughty and Robin Regehr out there matched up against the Johansson line. Kings right now content on knocking it down the ice and icing the puck once more.
I don't even know if he gets to sit down by the time he gets to the bench, does he?
I don't think
there's
so.
Dustin Brown. He's the captain, as you can see, of the Los Angeles Kings. And He's played his whole career there. He's been there a long time, and 2 Stanley Cups, and you saw that we showed the hit total tonight of all the hits that are thrown by the Kings, and he's one of the leaders in the league always, and he plays a tough game. He's got a goal here tonight. You see him in front of the net. Just a real good balance for this team, and I'll tell you what, he's done a nice job spending his whole career, I think almost 800 games with the Los Angeles Kings.
Jackets dumped to the near corner, hustling forward. Foligno chops it back to the point. Goluboff unable to keep it in. This is Kopitar now. Kopitar dumps it deep. Kings at the end of a long road trip, content on just dumping it back into Jackets territory now that they've opened up a 2-goal lead. Jackets got to generate something here offensively. Approaching the 5-minute mark as it's chipped off the wall there.
What do we got here? High stick. Blue Jackets are going to go to the box here. Foligno. Let's take a look at it here.
Columbus penalty number 71, 2 minutes for ice sticking.
There's a battle for position. That's a one-handed whack there. There he dropped his stick. That's what it was. How about that? That stick was out of his hand for a minute as he grabbed it and got spun around. High stick as he's cleaning his visor in the penalty box. Big kill for the Jackets here, Jeff.
Columbus come in tonight 21st on the penalty kill at 80.1%, just edging over that 80% mark. Kings 12th on the power play, 34 for 174 at 19.5%. Kopitar leads them with 18 power play points. Doughty has 11 power play assists. Gabrick second in points, 7 goals and 5 assists on the power play.
The Jackets here want to get this kill, get the momentum. And we've seen them come off a penalty kill at times this season and last season and really keep it that way. That simple, hard effort game that you have to play on the penalty kill. So maybe here this is a point where they can get through this kill and get things going as a team with simple hockey.
Well, last home game here against St. Louis, they scored their second shorthanded goal. Ryan Johansson walking in, beating Brian Elliott.
That was his 20th, wasn't it?
Absolutely. Jackets' second shorthanded goal of the season. First power play tonight for LA. Right wing feed. Gabrick stood up at center ice. Jack Johnson dumps it back in.
That was a good play by Jack Johnson. That's what the LA Kings have done to the Blue Jackets all night. As soon as the Kings received the puck there at the line, Jack Johnson was there to shut that play down.
Final 17 seconds in the Foligno penalty. Jack is doing a good job in the kill. There's Quick edging it ahead. McNabb. Sprinting down the left side is Lewis. Stoll turned around in the play. 1 second left of the Foligno penalty. He steps out. Jackets 1 for 1 on the kill. Battle below the goal line. Atkinson comes up with it off the wall. Matt Calvert, he'll use his speed. Or excuse me, that is not Calvert, that is Foligno. My apologies. Foligno in front. Jack Johnson all alone. He had the gaping wide open net, unable to settle that puck down.
That was a wide open net. What a desperation play by Jarrett Stoll. Got in the way of that shot of Jack Johnson. You were thinking Nick Foligno was going to shoot that puck. Nice heads-up play. Just couldn't put it in that empty net.
Atkinson pressures. That's Williams, cross ice. Golden opportunity for the Jackets to cut that deficit, but a good defensive play there by LA in front of Jonathan Quick, approaching the 8-minute mark. Rink-wide pass there. Doughty turning away. Currently paired with McNabb. Drops it. McNabb lifts it up and out. Darting down that right side is Shore. Left at the Jackets line. Columbus look to the right wing for Skilly. Jack Skilly across the line. Shot deflected over top of the net. Green off the wall. Jackets unable to play it. Hustling back here is Leopold. Approaching the 9-minute mark. Jackets now up ice. Leopold Across the line. Sweeps a backhand by Muzzin. Quick will play it off the boards. King can't make the play. Skilly centers, but Matt Green is there.
That was a good play by Jack Skilly to jump up on the play. Kind of check forward there, keep the puck alive, but couldn't connect with the pass.
Jackets come close, but can't put it in the net. Good defensive play in front. Stoll reaching for Jack Johnson, not enough.
We're back here at Nationwide Arena where the Jackets need a couple of goals to tie this thing up. Hey, tonight on Fox Sports Live, Hall of Famer Gary Payton breaks down Greg Popovich's quest for 1,000 wins, which college star's draft stock is falling, and Jimmy Johnson tells you why he is a smart bet at the Daytona 500. That's tonight on Fox Sports Live on Fox Sports 1.
Kings have outshot the Jackets as you get a look there at Matt Calvert. 8-1 here. In this third period, they've got a 35-14 advantage overall.
Yeah, they've controlled the play here, there's no doubt, but the Jackets keeping it close. You know, you look at the last two games, they've found two completely different ways to win the hockey game. 7-1, awesome, 60 minutes, and then you're tired, or you know, you go in the back-to-back. Not tired, but you're going to make mental mistakes. You find a way to win. They're down 2 at home here, over a half a period left. They just need to wait for an opportunity. They just lost or missed an opportunity, that Jack Johnson play, that unbelievable defensive play by Jared Stoll, like you said. But now get back on the horse and get down there on quick.
King rifles it wide of the net. Doughty at center sends it right back in. Goluboff as we approach the midway point of this third period. Centering feed, Foligno.
No room to skate for these guys. You see that? Even that play on Dubinsky. He's trying to get to that puck. He's getting boxed out by big Matt Green in front of the net.
Foligno jostling for position. Knocks Quick back into the net. Foligno now without a helmet. There's pushing and shoving.
He took a pretty high shot there from Muzzin.
Quick was pushed back in the net, and he came back out battling as well. Foligno finally makes his way over to the bench. There's Kopitar in the left wing. Kopitar circling the net. Tosses it back for Doughty. Doughty chopping it. Unable to get to it, but hustles here to send it ahead. Gabrick Brown with Kopitar. Dustin Brown in front. Off the stick of Gabrick, and McElhaney makes the stop. Well, Foligno doing his job down low in front of Quick. And a bit of a face wash there, but he doesn't back down. 4-2 the score. Time for tonight's Big Lots Big Play.
And that man right there in his 1000th game tonight. 1000 National Hockey League game. He gets a nice goal. What a play by Ryan Johansson. Watch how hard Ryan Johansson fires that puck over to Scott Hartnell. I don't know how he settled that down and got the puck away. That's a skilled player in Scotty Hartnell. That's got to feel good. And since then, the LA Kings have scored 2. They're up by 2 here, and the Jackets need a push.
Johansson had the stick knocked out of his hand. Looking for Pelly to be called. Retrieves his stick as the Kings walk out of the zone. Here's Kopitar. Gabrick goes to the front of the net. Kopitar sends it high and wide. Johansson plays it up high. Pass for Atkinson off his stick. Doughty will chop it right back out. We've got a tennis match going here right now.
Linesman said that got tipped off Jack Johnson's stick, so no icing there.
Left wing feed. Trop sends in. Kings. Trevor Lewis turned over. Trop stood up. Kings walk it out. Oh boy. Going for a hit there and getting tangled up. Jared Bull and Trevor Lewis.
And Jared Bull might have taken the worst of that as he goes off and makes his way to the bench.
Here's Muzzin. Bull in some difficulty there. He fell awkwardly. Foligno, right wing. Foligno throws it in front. Quick was there, hugging the near post. Leopold a shot. Doughty will clear. And it's Foligno. Nick Foligno weaves his way into the offensive zone. Quick out. Hands it to Doughty in the corner. Less than 8.5 left.
Blue Jackets coming with a little more speed here, Jeff. Going to get an icing called against the LA Kings.
Our next telecast, Friday night. Jackets off for the next 3 days, but they'll play host to the Flyers on Friday night. Division matchup. First of 2 meetings over the next week between those 2 teams. First here, and then on to Philadelphia for a Tuesday night game a week from tomorrow. Jared Bull, as we speak, down the runway, flexing that leg here, trying to walk it off. Jackets cannot afford another injury.
That's a shot from the point. No one in front of the net. You got to get someone in there.
In front there, Dubinsky. Oh, what an outstanding stop by Quick. Just as the doctor, or in this case, Jody Shelley, suggested, get some people in front, and Dubinsky tried to send it home, and Quick maybe with his best stop of the night.
Holy smokes, what a stop.
That may be his best of the night.
That was a wide open net, and then all of a sudden that pad came across, and that just shut the door on Brandon Dubinsky.
Well, it's certainly one of the candidates for perhaps the Ohio Health Great Save. There, Foligno circling the net. Foligno into the high slot there, missing. Matt Calvert and back in Jackets territory.
Foligno's frustrated. He tried to connect there with Calvert. It's a backhand pass. And just a little bit too far away from Calvert. Just couldn't reach it there. Too bad, because that was a nice little play by Foligno to hold that puck. I'd let Calvert get some space.
Jack Johnson, Skilly! Oh, a kick save and a dandy. The left pad of Quick. He's made his best 2 stops here in succession, both from point-blank range.
Kind of lifted his pad up.
Yeah.
Off the ice, just kind of flick it out.
Looks pretty confident here. He's not had the kind of season that he's had here in recent memory. He's played a strong game here tonight when the Jackets have tested him. 20 shots now for Columbus, 36 for Los Angeles. Kings content on just getting out of this game. They're just interested in sending that puck out of their zone.
Well, they're finishing up a long road trip themselves here.
Knocked down there was Stoll. Picked up here by Williams in the corner. Williams scored his 100th goal as a member of the LA Kings. Of course, spent some time with Carolina and Philadelphia. Won a cup with the Kings. In front, Stoll. Out of the wing there for Lewis. Jackets keep it in. Leopold takes a hit but makes the play. Looking for Atkinson, who is poised and ready. But again, the Kings defend. And now Doughty drops it back for Regeer. 5 minutes, 40 seconds left. One thing, as Daryl Sutter pointed out to me this morning, Jody, is kind of a quirky schedule for the Kings. They're playing more games consistently on the road, longer road trips, and then playing more home games than they have in previous years. More games consecutively at home.
That's kind of nice.
In front, McElhaney trying to send it home. Kings, hard to believe, but they have the second fewest road wins in the season in the National Hockey League. Only Buffalo and Edmonton have fewer at 5. The Kings only with 6 road wins. They'll play more road games in the second half. 5:10 left, 4-2 the score. We had teased that the Ohio Health Great Save was coming up, and our nomination has come through.
Yeah, it has. Jonathan Quick on Brandon Dubinsky. Golba shoots that puck in. Cody Golba right there. Dubinsky looks like he's got a wide open net, but Jonathan Quick, the splits.
Bobrovsky-like.
Pad gets the left pad there and just shuts the door. Face off to the left here of Curtis McElhaney.
I'd say it was a Bobrovsky-like stop. Bobrovsky certainly can do the splits with the best of them.
I agree. That resembled a Bobrovsky save.
Again, if you've joined us late, Bobrovsky, for the first time tonight, or today, earlier on today, skated. Still a ways away. Jody eloquently put, very gingerly out on the ice today. But the point is, he was out there in full equipment. And that's progress.
That's progress, right?
Less Then 4.5 minutes left. Jackets need some ozone time here. Carter with a hook that he gets away with. Muzzin dumps in.
Dubinsky with a good job up the ice. Good individual effort. Just tried to kick it out to Foligno. Pass was not hard enough. These LA Kings, they're just backing up to the blue line here now and trying to just protect their zone, causing turnovers at the blue line. Here the Jackets are deep in the offensive zone. Ooh, referee went down there. He's okay.
Yeah. That is Graham Skilleter, of the younger officials, working tonight with the veteran Dan O'Halloran. Right wing. Skilling. Backhanded in by Nisimov. Out of the net. Quick. Left right there. Wenberg finishing his check along the far wall on Dustin Brown. Skilly looking for the handle. Gabrick sends it ahead for Kopitar, who steps to center and will dump it in wide of the Jackets net. Wholesale changes for the Kings and the Jackets as play continues. I mentioned Jared Bull went down the runway. He has returned but hasn't taken a shift since. Good news is he's on the bench though as Quick steers to the corner. Hartnell playing his 1,000th National Hockey League game here tonight. Friends and family making their way out from Western Canada for this one. Tossed back to the point. Long shot. Fought off by McElhaney. Jackets now steer it ahead. This is Atkinson. Left wing for Hartnell. Back for Atkinson with Connaughton, who's joined the rush. Picked up by Williams on the right wing boards. Less than 3 minutes left. Williams will step to center. And again, the Kings content on just dumping it in.
They're doing a heck of a job of just locking this game up defensively.
In front now. Good work by the Jackets down low to prevent a quality shot at McElhaney, who is now at the hash mark. He's going to get the word here to get out of the net. Jackets will pull McElhaney here if they can sustain some action in the offensive zone. Foligno right wing. Here comes McElhaney out of the net. Jackets get the extra skater on. A little more than 2 minutes left. Foligno walks out, looks to tuck it home, is knocked down as it's covered up by Quick in the blue paint.
Let's watch what the Los Angeles Kings are doing here, Jeff. 5 guys working together. They're up by 2 goals. Watch the Blue Jackets. They're coming up on a rush. Defenseman number 4, Connaughton's going to join it here. But LA does a great job of staying up close to the blue line, turning it over, and then look at the 5 guys together. Support underneath in the defensive zone, carrying to the red line, and then that is a smart change by them also. When the puck makes its way to that red line, they get off the ice. Timeout Columbus here as they get a face-off in the offensive zone. Maybe get the guys a rest. Foligno's been out there a while as he slowly makes his way to the bench.
Jody getting word here from Dave Metzel that we talked about Bull going down the runway, flexing that leg. He then came back to the bench, and we understand he's now again gone back into the Jackets dressing room.
Well, let's take a look at it here, Jeff. Let's see what went on. There he goes. He misses the check, kind of.
Ooh, that leg is bent right there.
Yeah, that looks uncomfortable, and you can see the look on his face. That stick's under there, too. Ooh.
Bowler's a gamer, but boy, oh boy. That did not look good.
No.
Came in tonight riding a 2-game point scoring streak, tying his career high. Had a spirited bout in the opening period with Kyle Clifford. Up high, this is Foligno. On to Savard. Shot score! Hold on to your hats. It's 4-3 with 1:53 left.
Well, watch this goal. Watch where Artem Anisimov goes. David Savard, very assertive with these passes. Nice play right there at the line. And watch this play. Look at Anisimov in front of the net. Quick saw the initial shot. Jack Johnson there. That's a good play to spin away. And with Anisimov in front. That puck changed directions there.
Looked like it did.
Well, Good play by Paulie McElhaney. Now they get another chance. Lots of time left. Just under 2 minutes.
How about David Savard? He's already set career highs for goals. If he's credited with that one, it'll be number 8 on the year. Career high for points, which will be added to regardless there. And career high in penalty minutes. Out comes McElhaney. 1 goal game, less than 90 seconds left. Quick, the stop. How big, speaking of quick and stops, how big were those back-to-back saves here just a few minutes ago, including that Ohio Health great save on Dubinsky.
Yeah, that was incredible. And he hasn't had a lot of action. Couple opportunities early the Blue Jackets cashed in on. Look at this play by Ryan Johansson. Quick shot, great idea. What does that do? Sets up a face-off to the right of Quick. Also an opportunity to rebound, which Quick doesn't give up many. But right here, he gets to drop a play again where they just scored off a nice offensive zone face-off win.
Jody, you're right on the money. The Jackets have not had many opportunities, but they've had some. And another one here in the third period. Jack Johnson, remember, pinching in. And the great defensive play by Stoll.
Yes, and let's not forget the play of Curtis McElhaney, who's faced 44 shots here tonight. That's a lot of work. Against the defending Stanley Cup champions, he stood tall. He's made some timely saves. And here we are with an opportunity for the Jackets here to tie this up late in the game.
Play whistled down. And what do we have here? We have a penalty for too many men. Play was whistled down.
Time back on the clock here.
Well, they're checking on resetting the clock here. The Jackets get the last change. And just checking here on what the Kings have done with regards to changes here for Daryl Sutter. Home team gets the last change, and now Dubinsky for the draw. From the face-off, up high Jack Johnson, on to Savard, all kinds of traffic in front of Quick. Johansson sends one in, scramble in front, Jackets can't get to it, Dubinsky was right there. Up high Jack Johnson, on for Foligno. Nick Foligno in front, Dubinsky tried to tip it home. Johansson now, he'll walk out of the corner. He can fire top of the circle, does just that, the shot is blocked, trying to get a stick on it as Anisimov. Kings with less than a minute to go now. Jack Johnson off the point. Dubinsky in front. Regehr drops him. Trying to cover up there as Quick and does with 52.9 seconds remaining. The Jackets on the prowl for the tying goal.
Good job by the Blue Jackets here. Not only getting attempts at net, but how about Dubinsky and Anisimov keeping pucks alive right here too. Anisimov knows that puck's in there somewhere. He takes a whack at it. That causes this play to stay alive. Look at these guys working to get that puck. Jack Johnson keeps that in at the lineup on the top of your screen there. Good little plays at the net. Good urgency here late in the game. Dubinsky's going to take this face-off now on the other side.
From the drop. Puck unfairly dropped. They'll do it all over again.
Now this is... so the linesman is kicking Dubinsky out as the puck drops. And that's what happened before. He kicked Johansson out as the puck dropped. Watch this. He drops the puck. He kind of hesitated. And as he hesitated, both guys, you could see their heads kind of get in there. And that's when the other linesman blew it down. So, okay, quick whistle. Time back on the clock. Ryan Johansson goes in as option 2, which is not too bad in this stage.
Johansson cleanly wins it. Jack Johnson moving up. Johansson from the corner. Jack Johnson. Dubinsky. Here's Savard. And Quick's got it. He'll hold on again. 41.9 seconds left.
Good job by the Blue Jackets here. Passing it around the top of, we'll call it an umbrella here. It goes up, over. Dubinsky gets it in the middle. Play to Savard. Savard thinks he sees something there, but easy save for Jonathan Quick there.
Johansson will take this face-off. Working against Kopitar.
Johansson taking his time here.
He wins the drive. Foligno throws it back to the point for Savard. Cross ice, Jack Johnson. Hartnell cruising in the low slot. Now standing on the edge of the paint. Shot by Johansson. Wide. Foligno cycles out of the corner. Johansson waits top of the circle. Jack Johnson from the point. Again, Quick sees it through the traffic and holds on. 23.2 seconds left.
Well, Ryan Johansson, that was a pretty good little shot. He rang off the post there just a few seconds before this last play at net. Good sustained pressure in the offensive zone for the Blue Jackets here. Have had a couple good opportunities. Ryan Johansson directs traffic again. He's won the last couple of draws nice and clean. Get this to Dubinsky for a shot. Dubinsky's shuffling around here. Johansson's going to try on his forehand to get it back to Jack Johnson off the wall, it looks like.
Stoll losing the draw. Johansson wins another one. Here's Savard. David Savard in front. The shot is blocked. Picked up by the Kings. Kopitar can't clear. Savard steps up on him. Second attempt is chipped off the wall. At the Jackets line. Inside now Johansson. Gets it to Dubinsky. Savard chops it in. Doughty far side. Down to 2-1. The Kings hang on. A 4-3 victory with the Jackets pressing in the final minutes. They get a goal from Savard, but can't get the equalizer. And they file out. Jackets outshot 44-26. Outscored 4-3. Kings head home with that 4-3 victory.